Good evening, Vanners. Here's a quick update on the van project. I had to take a few days off and just do some things around the house, and I had to refocus some energy on this van project. Anyway, you can see that I've taken a wire wheel to the seam on this inside panel here because I was just wire wheeling off the rust to see how bad it was, and it got really thin in here. So I took the body hammer. You can see that little impression right here, and I'll show you underneath. So what's going to end up happening here is some pretty drastic surgery. Both sides of the van are going to end up having it done, and I'll describe it as we go along here. We removed the fuel tank, so we've got more access in here. So what ended up happening was, as I was cleaning up under here, preparing things, I took the body hammer up in here to clean up all that scaly material before I hit it with a sandblaster, and I noticed this rust hole here. So that's not good. That's part of the structure of the van. It's double skinned. So what we're going to end up doing is cutting that whole inner floor out all along the edge of the wheelhouse, because it's just ugly like this. And we're going to cut up right up against right up to the edge of the frame member. It's not really a frame, I guess. It's just boxed steel, but I'm going to end up going in and cutting all that sheet metal out and making a panel that and I'll describe it as we go up here. I'm jumbling my words. So this panel I'm going to end up cutting all along here, up to this line here, all along into here, and the frame rail is right along here. This is the edge of the frame. So I'm going to cut all along in here, and I'm going to stop here. We're going to do this in two sections. So this is going to all come out. The wheelhouse is in really nice shape. It's just really, like you saw how scabby it was under there. I want to get that all gone. So this is going to all come out. This will give me access to get all the spot welds out from the wheelhouse. I've got to continue cleaning out this seam sealer. That's a lot of fun. And I'm going to use a heavy gauge metal, heavier gauge than this, so we can make a hell of a lot stronger floor pan and mounting location for the spring shackle at the back. Now the spring shackle at the back has a lot of support. It's welded firmly to the frame structure that's along this seam here. Also, we fixed all of this, and it's all been boxed in. It's all part of the structure of the van as well. So when I remove that first initial piece of the floor section, there's going to be a lot of structure there. Now I don't want to go all the way to the front because your front spring hanger's there, and and I found a rust hole there when I was poking around underneath. So all this scabby material is coming out, and it'll be all new metal put in. So I thought I'd give you an update. I had to take a break from it and reevaluate whether I wanted to do this or not, but I thought, you know what, if I stop, it's not going to get done and no one's going to finish it. I've already got this far, so let's do it. Everything here is good. All the metal in here is good. It's all galvanized. It's just this wasn't. This piece is galvanized. This wasn't. This is. And you can see that there's seam sealer in along here. It's more noticeable up front. You can see the two rows of seam sealer there. And we need to buff all that out, locate all the spot welds. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to simply cut all this out, peel it back, so I can get access to the top of the spring mount or the shackle mount, and clean it all up, get it ready and prepped, ground down, so we have a good solid foundation to weld to. And then we're going to do the same thing along this frame rail, but I want to cut in along the center of that frame, so I have a good surface to grind on top of the frame. We can plug weld the new metal on the frame, as well as stitch weld it into the existing floor structure that's here. I will lose the prevalent ribs. I do have a square body floor that's in good shape. It was involved in an accident, but it's twisted up because of the accident. I don't know if I want to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run that sheet metal, and I'm going to run strips to make it kind of look like the factory, and it'll just add some rigidity. But this is where I have to go here if we're going to save this van. It'll give me access in here to clean all this up. All this structure is all excellent underneath. The problem lies, it's not this metal here. This is fine. Unfortunately, it's sandwiched between a non-galvanized piece of metal which is welded to the top of the shackle, or the spring mount. So there's not a whole lot of saving this. It's just the way it's going to have to be. So I'm going to cut back into this flat area here and come back over to here and just cut basically a goalie stick type of shape out of it, or a hockey stick shape out of it, and weld in some fresh metal before going on to the front section, which I'll show you, but we're not going to get into the extent. We may not, as far as the video is concerned of that. There's no point in moving forward with the rear repairs or even the front rocker repair if I don't get this done. You need to have the back done to get the front done so all the body lines line up. It's a vicious cycle. I've explained it before. I had to walk away for a while, but things around the yard are needing done. The weather's changing from fall into fall, and snow can fly in a week or 3 weeks. So we just got to kind of work with the weather. That's what I'm doing, because I wanted to shoot some epoxy primer, but that's not going to happen. Not until this is fixed up. And yeah, this is just dirty. There's no rust in here, so we got good solid foundation here. Right behind here is where that structure is that I rebuilt. So there's a lot of meat that goes up into the door frame structure. So we're not going to run into any problems as far as warpage is concerned. The frame is all jacked up underneath. Jacked up doesn't sound very good, but it is supported with jack stands in several locations. So there's all the weights off the spring perch itself and on the frame. So we don't have any sag issues there. I don't see any issues. I mean, I could leave this. You could leave all that, and it'll probably outlive me or the van itself in general. But it's there, and the quality goes in before the name goes on, as it were. And that's kind of how it has to be. I don't want this to go down the road with me knowing about that. Just it's ugly. You can cover it up with paint. I mean, a lot of people would have done that, but when it got into the structure of the suspension, I'll show you. See, this here I've already bent down, but that's spot welded to the hanger itself. So essentially what I'm going to do is go in here, we're going to cut just along this ledge, and this is where the second ply is, like two ply toilet paper. We're going to carve all this out, unfortunately, and the floor's got to come with it because it's spot welded to the floor, but you can see that it's a nice shape. But sometimes you got to sacrifice a few to win a few. But the new panel, this is all galvanized, so unfortunately this shitty non-galvanized material that they used, it goes right into under the frame here where it becomes galvanized again. It's weird. So I'm gonna get rid of all of this, start fresh. You can see that this is all nice and clean in here. So it'll give me an awesome opportunity to make a good repair out of this, and we'll continue the saga here. But I'm sorry for not making any videos there. I just needed to take a break and come up with a plan of attack. Like I said, the wheelhouse is in good shape. It's all galvanized. I just took a quick blast through the what do you call it, undercoating, to see how easy it was, and it just blows away. So that'll be great. I can clean all that up from the face side or inside the cab, and get it all prepped and ready for weld, and then seam seal it all up when I'm done. I have done a few things. I did prep up all the spot welds that were here and prep them for paint and re-blast again. So I have been doing a few things. I cleaned up the shop and got rid of 100 pounds of sand out of here and spread it all over the yard and cleaned it all up. But that's where we're at. This is going to be a project, but I think that if I get on it and just beat on it and do it, I think it won't take all that long. It's just a matter of spending man hours out here, but life's in the way, as is with many other people, so you kind of have to just let this be on the back burner. But I kind of need the room in here too, so because I have the Impala that needs to go in here. But it is what it is. I don't want to leave it. I can always put a cover on the car and keep the snow off of it, and once it stays cold and it's cold, we are good to go. As long as you keep the snow around the cars clean, it's okay. But anyways, I'm rambling about stupid shit there. This is more van related stuff. What I want to do then at this point is I'm going to continue cutting the rest of the exhaust system off. The gas tank is out. It held pressure, like I was saying. That's great. I came out with ease, regardless of how scabby it looks under there. It came out well. All the hangers, nothing broke. Nothing broke. So I'm going to clean everything up really good, give everything a shot of under the wire wheel, sandblast everything, never sees it, all that fun stuff, so it's easy for the next guy to take out in the event of needing a new, or what do you call it, a fuel sending unit, because that may happen. Everything's covered up in here. I just didn't want dust everywhere when I was buffing out this seam sealer. It was a lot of fun. It makes a hell of a mess as well as sandblasting, but I took everything out here before sandblasting the underneath here. So that's what's going on. I appreciate your patience. Thank you for watching, and we'll carry on with this. Take care.